Good afternoon, Whale Coin Talk community. My name is Noah. We are here with the third Twitter space of the day. I have Gökçe Güven, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Gökçe, on the mic today. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things. This is more of a freestyle fireside chat. Gökçe has done a lot of amazing, worked on a lot of amazing projects, done a lot of amazing things, and we're gonna pick some key topics and expand upon those. So Gökçe, without further ado, you want to give our audience a quick intro to your background, what your career trajectory has been like, your origin story, and then how you ultimately got your way into the Web3 industry.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, Noah. Excited to be here. Hello, everyone listening. I'm Gökçe. I have been building in crypto space for the past 5 years in engineering, product, and design. Right now, I am building my own company, Calder, which is a Web3 loyalty platform serving e-commerce space and creators. And a little bit about me. I am originally from Turkey and was born and raised there before I came to college in Berkeley. And actually, especially today, I want to also tell in this platform that Turkey has been through a very strong earthquake, 7.8 magnitude. So if there's anyone Turkish here or anyone affected, my prayers are with them. My family is safe, but it's definitely a tough time, and I think it's important to voice that. But I still wanted to really join this because Noah and I planned this months ahead, and I think it will be very important topics to discuss: crypto, building in crypto, and also joining top startups or how to break into crypto. Coming back to how I started and how I got into crypto was, I still remember I joined crypto space in 2017, 2018 cycle, which was a bear market, just like we're going now. And one of the most important things for me was basically the question of how do we create access to finance applications, consumer applications, and creator applications without a centralized entity. So how can we build the future of universal economies, creator economies? And that's how I found my way into joining the early team of Cello. I worked on the wallet platform applications there and was part of the early team pre-mainnet and was able to see the start of Valora wallet, which was one of the earliest wallets in space. And there I was able to see that we need, for crypto to cross the chasm, we need to build more consumer applications and use cases. And that's how I joined early teams of Robinhood Crypto to basically bring crypto to the next million, and OpenSea lastly before Calder. As part of early team at OpenSea, I was able to see the backbone of essentially profiles, portfolios, early NFT collections, and mainly brand partnerships and what I call the next hypothesis of NFTs. So we have only seen the V1 of NFTs so far, the ones that we trade and we speculate or collect as art of, and we've seen many strong use cases. Like art blocks came up. I also do generative art, so I'm a big fan of generative art. I collect and I do a lot of generative AI powered NFTs. And there's also a lot of community use cases, creator use cases. But what I have seen at also OpenSea and through my other endeavors was that a lot of brands and enterprises wanted to use this technology to power their new engagement and marketing, because D2C costs skyrocketed to the point that it's not sustainable to market your brand anymore. So that's how I started building Calder, and we raised 3 million in August for Calder, scaled our team, and now working with retail space, Shopify powered brands to essentially revamp brands' customer relationship engagements powered by dynamic NFT memberships, brand rewards that is powered by our specifically designed token economics and contribute to earn quests to gamify engagement. So now I'm 24/7 on Calder, and it's been a great journey so far. And that's basically the short and long answer of where I am.
Well, first of all, our hearts go out to everyone in Turkey, your family in Turkey, your friends in Turkey. I hope that everyone, I'm glad that your family's okay. And, if you have any links for people that want to donate to disaster relief in Turkey, definitely go ahead and pin them to the top of the space. So I'm glad you could make it. It's been, you're right, it's been several, I think of it a month or two since we've talked and planned the space. And so here you are. Let's start from the beginning. You were born in Turkey, and then how old were you when you came to the States? Did you come to the States right when you had got into Berkeley?
Yeah, I was 18 when I came to Turkey. Came from Turkey to US. Like actually, like more like full time. I have been to US for doing research or like studies before during my high school too. And then I went to like a boarding school in high school. So I did have a lot of exposure to the American education system. But I think what was an inflection point for me was definitely Berkeley, because Berkeley was the epicenter of learning about crypto and blockchain for me. And it was like blockchain at Berkeley, like due to blockchain at Berkeley, I was able to learn a lot of the things I know today and come to the place I am today.
When you were at Berkeley, what were you studying?
Yeah, so I did business and cognitive science and computer science minor. So I did a lot of like in engineering stuff, and then a lot of like product work. And that way I was able to see both, I think, like the use cases side, so the higher level product, and then the engineering and technical side of like smart contracts, protocol design, and also like higher level kind of data structures and like implementation, so that it's day to day very helpful to think about both in a higher level and technical level.
Yeah, so then you discovered the blockchain club at Berkeley sometime during your time in college, and you jumped in. What were some of the early components in 2017 that really intrigued you about this industry, about this technology?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I think for me, one of the main use cases was definitely like how money, as we know it as a concept, is designed with a lot of flaws, and how economy has a lot of flaws, and how even remittances are broken. So today, we live in an economy that is dependent of growth of GDP, and money flows through only centralized entities, and it takes more than weeks and months to send money, like in 2023. And um and that like we are dependent on local politics and economics when it comes to our prosperity. So when I talk about these concepts, the first time I like started to question the basis of innovating on money was reading the book Sacred Economics by Charles Eisenstein. And that really changed my perspective on how blockchain can power the next revolution of the future of money. Like how money doesn't need to be based on scarcity or like growth, and how in the simplest basis that was like one of the biggest pain points for me, how you can send money cross borders in seconds, because right now money is just like commas on our Excel sheets. And it's crazy to see that like when you're sending money from like US to Turkey or anywhere, it's so different from sending from like New York to San Francisco. And these, like realizing these, made me see crypto as a revolution that I need to be part of and innovate and like lead. And that's how I started chasing what are the startups or leaders innovating in the space.
Hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more on all those counts. These are components and early signals of the industry that drew me in and kind of kept me here. So you got into blockchain and interested when you were at Berkeley. You graduated. Then what happened? Did you go straight into working in Web3, or did you work somewhere else before you kind of made the jump over?
Yeah, definitely. So I have worked like full time, like in different perspectives across 4 years I spent at Berkeley. So like I spent a lot of full time at Robinhood, OpenSea, like Cello, and I would say those really were my like founding or early team experiences that led me to build Calder. And then around like nearly last year these days, I stepped back from OpenSea to try building Calder, and I had the hypothesis of how like Web3 loyalty and customer relationship management and new era marketing analytics will change how we perceive marketing and engagement today. And after that, basically around that era, and like I started like productizing Calendar and pulling people that I want to co-found and build with to this. So technically I transitioned to building Calendar full time while I was in school, and then of course officially started after I graduated and like fundraised and scaled the team.
Hmm. And I do want to talk about Calendar. I want to spend a good amount of time talking about it, but I just want to I'm trying to get the timeline correct in my mind. So you were working for OpenSea and Robinhood while you were still in university?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So you were at university, you were completing your education, you were completing your degree, you're in the blockchain club at Berkeley. And how did you get involved with I think was it Robinhood you got involved with? No, you got involved with OpenSea first, right? OpenSea, Cello, and then Robinhood?
Cello, Robinhood, and then OpenSea. And
Cello,
Cello,
Robinhood, and OpenSea.
yeah, Cello through blockchain like at the time, I think 2018, like or like 19, there was a strong blockchain at Berkeley alum presence at Cello actually, and we were like directly funneling into Cello, kind of like interviews or like like a lot of hackathons, a lot of like working together, and that's how I found my way. And then I actually like started as like 3 to 6 months like working with them, but then I spinned out the DeFi project and got the grants and then started building that with blockchain at Berkeley folks. So the best part of crypto or like crypto startups is also that there's so many ways to work with crypto startups. Like you can get a grant and build on top of the project, or you can build a partnership, or you can like contract work with them. I think that's the that's the best thing, since I think the true nature of permissionless and decentralization embedded in true Web3 companies, where like you can build on top of these projects and show yourself and be part of these projects regardless who you are or what is your age. I think like I would not have been able to do what I did in any other space.
So you worked for Cello while still in university. You worked on their wallet platform application, Valora Wallet, and then you made the jump to Robinhood. You said you worked at Robinhood's crypto arm. What kind of work did you do for them?
Yeah, I did design there on like the wallets and side, and was in like the crypto arm. Stayed there very shortly, but uh, has been very powerful. Actually, hired from Robinhood team before to Calder. It's been a great experience. But Robin crypto team was like I think 10 or 15 people back then. So I worked on like the custodial and non-custodial wallet user experiences there.
So you've done a lot of up until this point in the timeline. You've done a lot of front end work.
Yeah, so I would say in my like especially Robinhood and Cello times, I did a lot of like product and design work. So like higher level kind of sprints and of course user experiences. And then like in blockchain at Berkeley, I did a lot of like more like engineering work uh, and protocol work. And then of course OpenSea again like design and like product work, and Calder like everything everything that needs to be done, we do it.
Yeah, you're like a Swiss Army knife, and you've done a lot on the front end side. Obviously, UI design is one of those things that you focused on. What do you think is the biggest issue currently with? And this is a broad question. This is kind of a general question. But what's the biggest issue currently with Web3 UI design and its kind of limitations as far as attracting a broad audience?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we like since 2018 we did come a long way, but there's still so many blockers. Like I think we do need more Web2 designers coming into Web3 to understand Web3 principles, but bring their expertise into Web3, meaning like for example coming into like looking into B2B world or like consumer applications in Web2, it's very seamless. So like the best UI principle is always that the best UI is the UI that you don't recognize. So when you're using Twitter or Instagram or any tools, like you're not really realizing the components or experiences you're using because it's very smooth and seamless. That's the type of experience we need for Web3. So one example is like mobile compatibility. Like these type of like we are still going through these problems because we also have lower level in the stack problems. Like mobile compatibility is hard because there's Apple regulations or like wallet integrations. There's like technical problems still to this day, but that every experience needs to be fast, easy, and seamless for UI to work seamless as well. For example, when you're minting an NFT on your phone and you try to go through MetaMask, funnel your wallet, and then go back and then try to mint, and then it doesn't go through, that's a bad UI, but that's also like a technical problem, is like technical problems as well. So I think they go hand in hand, but that again, the best UI is the UI that you don't even recognize. And we need more of that. And I think there's like more experiences coming as more people like, and I think last cycle really strong designers came into the space that I'm excited about. So I think we need designers to set the principles of Web3 design, because here we are innovating new language and new experiences. Like for example, wallets weren't a thing before in Web3 sense, or having an NFT profile wasn't a thing. So we need to do what Apple did for UI design, set the right systems and principles that every designer will use and look up to. And no teams does that yet. Like we don't have, in that sense, the Apple of Web3 that you can look up to for your design.
I love that analogy. You mentioned that you also spun up a DeFi app while you were at blockchain at Berkeley. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. So it didn't. I would say it didn't hit the network effects. It could have hit to like I'm like I guess last year, but it was very or like pre DeFi summer like 2019, where after Celo launched mainnet, I basically led this micro lending for micro entrepreneurs in developing nations products, where which was called Harmonia, where a team of 10 from blockchain at Berkeley was basically writing the contracts for us to give better lending tools for micro businesses across like developing nations, so that one, uh, these businesses can leapfrog from traditional banking to like more accessible or like crypto powered banking, and two, they can get access to lending in smaller amounts, like even to the point of $5. And we were able to pilot it in Costa Rica, like Mexico, and like Turkey and other places. And I think the biggest problem there was like, and I think that was the biggest realization, the end customer that we want to target, which was micro businesses and like micro entrepreneurs across these nations didn't end up being our end customer, where like we have seen a lot of like speculative trading, instead of like people getting like their lending and starting to use for their businesses. And that was very spot on for 2019, because off ramps were not as powerful as today, and that the full DeFi tools were dependent on market makers in the respective country, which is very hard to control. But it was a great experience to see where can DeFi go, and I'm still super bullish on like the next 5 to 10 year of DeFi, and like leapfrogging to digital money. Like we've seen this in M-Pesa in Kenya with in Web2. There's so much that can be done. But yeah, it was cool to be in DeFi, pre-DeFi era, and then see a lot of other micro lending companies coming up.
That's really cool. Is the protocol still around, or did you
No,
shut it down?
no, we did shut it down. And I would say it wasn't as exhaustive of a product protocol at the time. It was like couple contracts, but we did get a good demand on it. And I think like, of course, like the V1 was very janky and but like good, and like the full vesting like contracts were there. But it's a great way to bootstrap like your protocol. But yeah, I think like we definitely have it around in our repos, but it's not public.
Mm-hmm. And then you said at OpenSea you worked, you were there in the early days, and you got to see early NFT collections, early portfolios, kind of see the early infrastructure of OpenSea being built. What exactly were you doing for them? What were you helping them with? What was your role? And also, what were some of the challenges you guys faced in those early days?
Yeah, definitely. So I joined OpenSea as a product designer, and like was basically did a lot of product and like design work. I What was different compared to Robinhood was that OpenSea was at a much earlier stage, and that it was at the inflection point of scaling. Like the reason I actually joined OpenSea at the time was like I um, had CryptoKitties in 2018, and like I have been in like the NFT space through that. But I told you like in the earlier in the space that like I was in like the generative art space with processing and P5JS community, and a lot of people, and I was like the crypto girl there. So a lot of people that were doing generative art started asking me like, how do we NFT our art, like how do we get into this space? And that was my signal on kind of the first level of crossing the chasm, because I have realized never like my friends or like these like this target audience that have never cared about crypto before were trying to get into crypto. So that was my signal into how I could see the wave and like this adoption curve coming. And of course, like I was going back and forth with the designer at OpenSea at the time and the product people, basically, can we fix this, can we fix that? And then basically it became a way where like, oh, you should just come and do it. And then it and the early product team, like design team at OpenSea and product team at OpenSea, was very special for me because it was very tight knit, and I was able to see a lot of things 0 to 1. Like I worked on the Christie's product, like basically how like from scratch to the end how Christie's launched the auction, um, a lot of like the learn product, like profiles products, and so many like things in that sense that is still used today. Even like the toggle of night mode and day mode that I have designed and we shipped in a day is still there, and I just like love to see that there's a lot of um, basically DNA left in OpenSea that I was able to see early stages, and of course, like I was able to see like that kind of 1 to 10 scaling and how it happened very quickly, and like I think OpenSea will always be a leading player in the space, and that there will be many more like product verticals that they will be able to tap into. And I still talk and like work a lot with day to day with my previous OpenSea teammates. So it was definitely like one of the main reasons how I was able to get an insight on NFT, like powering like loyalty and enterprise systems for with like NFTs for enterprises through like this entity.
Yeah, and I would say being there that early and getting the kind of experience that you did, and also, like you said, seeing part of what you worked on still there in the DNA of OpenSea is a irreplicable experience. I think that a lot of people don't get to have something like that, so you're very lucky to have it at such a young age. I wanted to jump and talk about really quick your hypothesis of NFTs, as you mentioned at the beginning. You said V1s. V1 is the NFTs that we trade, we speculate, do generative art with. What do you think the next evolution? What is going to be V2, and then what's going to be V3 of NFTs?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think it's one that is being built now. As you said, this is similar to like what we have seen in the ICO cycle. Like we've seen a lot of like in 2017-18, a lot of like pump and dump tokens, but that the true valuable ecosystems like Ethereum stayed and became one of the core like ecosystems of web3 today. So we're going to see a similar like shift in the NFT ecosystem. So while a lot of NFTs might like will like not survive, a lot of the ecosystems that were able to create a core value will stay. Like think about art blocks. Like I gave this as an example, but like art blocks truly was able to do an innovation where like before generative art was a system where you could uh, essentially write the code and filter your favorite outputs of that generative art code and like put it in a gallery. But this time now you co-create this art with the artist. You mint it, so you essentially provide that random hash to the function that designs the art, the next generation of art. And there's no way to censor it. You can filter the outputs of art. You can choose it. So the code must be much better than the previous Web 2 version. So things like that, where like we add 100x value to the ecosystem with NFT powered experiences will stay with us like forever. So when I look at V2, I look at um, experiences that will be similar to this. So I asked the question, what are the use cases and experiences that are powered by blockchain or Web3, only powered by, and will bring that 100x like experience and utility to our like ecosystems. And that's why I think in the next 4 years we will see NFTs tokens as more as an infrastructure rather than just trading purposes. What this means is like we will see more memberships, more experiences. We are already seeing proof of attendances. We will see more experience driven badges, and then we will start seeing tools that will start querying these NFTs and like aggregating these NFTs to turn your next layer of identity or next layer of targeting and marketing. So we will see NFTs much more in the background, powering many more experiences. So rather than 10,000 JPEG collections, imagine 100,000 memberships. And effectively, what I think NFTs will become is your email. It is the direct communication to you through your experience, like through your like association with that brand or enterprise entity or community. Like think about the communication you have with that NFT holder. You can directly airdrop them things or reward them things. So to the point that becomes your direct mail to that wallet and that address. And we will see a full retransformation of communication, identity, user identity, and marketing management. Like, and marketers will start writing queries that doesn't say, like right now, marketers look at, oh, if X person like purchased $200 of X, send them Y. But this is not how community engagement or marketing will work. We will see queries where the user will, like the marketer will say, tell me the brand, tell me the customer that have engaged with me with my quests 80%, and when it has the Paris NFT badge, and also is a tier 3 in my dynamic NFT membership, and then target this person with X airdrop or Y. So we will see a much more bi-directional engagement, and that NFTs will be able to kind of be your tier or status and gateway to that. And lastly, I think NFTs in that sense will become our memberships and like cards and identities. We are seeing use cases where NFTs essentially become your, like, not a credit card but essentially a payment system where it hosts your loyalty or reward tokens. So imagine the future where you will be able to tap your NFT and spend, earn, and participate. So there's a lot of applications that we didn't think last year when we were in that like trade and sell craze, that is coming now and is a work in progress.
So to sum up what you're talking about and breaking down here, you're essentially referring to what Vitalik Buterin calls soulbound tokens, right?
I think soulbound tokens is a subset of these applications, but definitely it's definite that it doesn't, like, for these applications to come true, they don't have to be a soulbound. But yet I am all in on the applications that, like, there will be certain like applications like identity or like passports or credit, how it whatever those applications are, that SBTs will be powerful, and many more to that.
Got it. Okay, so next up, I want to talk about Calder. You said how long ago did you come up with the idea of Calder? And then you said you raised 3 million in August. Tell us about the process in raising and what it took, whether it was an easy process, whether it was difficult. I would love to hear more about all that.
Yeah, definitely. So Calder's idea and like the first like MVP started around a year ago today, and it was an idea like that I was synthesizing after having many conversations, just like Twitter spaces like these, or through the enterprise or B2B world, e-commerce world, and crypto world. And one thing as a side note about me is that I've always spent my, like, what I call my day job as in crypto engineering and product, but like my night job, as I call it, has always been like building in creative spaces, fashion and design. So I was able to first start seeing the bridging of the two. And what's interesting about e-commerce or like luxury and retail world, and at the same time crypto, is that people in like e-commerce or like brand world don't fully understand like crypto, like the technicalities or the applications to their own world, and world doesn't understand the brand world. So there was this mismatch that needed to be bridged, and seeing that these two worlds can get connected, where blockchain powered marketing and loyalty solutions can drastically change the customer relationship management and transform that into a community relationship management, was the first click for me. And basically I started building the idea, and then we MVP'd with a brand. This brand made millions, like a strong amount of like revenue through their NFT memberships, and that was our pilot. And that pilot was so strong enough that like after productizing these tools, we were able to waitlist a lot of e-commerce and brands, creators like like top DJs you guys like probably know of, like influencers, artists, and also like top retailers. And then we realized, okay, we need to productize and build this. And around August, um, we raised our first round, pre-seed round, like 3 million. And I would say that, like, of course the landscape was very different when we started building Calendar around, as I said, last year February and March. The market was so inflated that like pre-product everyone was getting amazing deals. But it was great to raise in August because it was also important to see like VCs and like people asking how we are going to make money, how we are going to scale, how we are going to turn this into a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. So it's, I think right now we like crypto is going through this pruning mechanism where like, which happened 4 years ago again, where the best companies surviving this bear market will lead the future of crypto applications and Web3 applications when there's a bull market. So it's a great time to persevere, great time to stay and build, because when the market size is smaller, it's so much easier to become a market leader and position yourself as a leader for the next 4 or 5 years. So it's a great time to build, and it's a great time to think about the next steps, because 3 4 years ahead now you will look into like look into today yourself and you will ask, why didn't I join the space, or why didn't I like build XYZ in the space? So I think that's why everyone in Calder is fully built in on like and fully bought in to where we are going with like NFTs and like tokens being our payment systems and like identity and like loyalty systems. And that we were able to find very value add and aligned investors from top like brands like uh ex founders and crypto VCs. And now of course they like all our essentially investors are helping us with hiring, finding brands, and like basically strategizing. So it's really good to build a good brain trust around your company. And now we are like we are a team of 12, and we do have very strong partnerships announcing soon. And we are live with two streetwear brands, and we went live with them in Paris Fashion Week. So has a lot happened in Calder, but we are always like a white labeled Web3 loyalty service. So you will always see us as an infrastructure company powering these experiences in the back end.
I think you nailed it on the head with the rewards that can be reaped for folks that stick around during bear markets. I think a lot of people in 2020 and 2021 looked back to 2018 and 2019 and wish they had paid more attention or wish they had built something. So, and the ones that did reap the most, in my anecdotal experience, reap the most benefits in 2021 and 2022, early 2022. So yeah, hats off to you for doing just that. I'm curious to know a bit about the big names in retail that you guys are working with. I did go on your website. I didn't find too much information. I know that you guys are more of an infrastructure solution, but would love to hear more about, if you're allowed to tell us, who exactly you're working with, apart from the
Yeah,
ones you just
so
named.
so I can link one that is public now. It's called Le Benjamin. They're a streetwear company, and has a huge presence across Middle East, France, and Canada. They are the ones that is fully public, that you can mint and join the membership and complete quests and unlock their like more like partnerships. They have a collaboration coming with Chinatown Market, like streetwear brand, and many more. So what you're seeing the future is that as these brands collaborate, they will collaborate through Calder, and that your membership and rewards will become more valuable and intersectional. And the other two that we are like announcing soon, I can't tell yet, but maybe Noah, we can co-tell it when it's ready to be told. But it's definitely gonna be the huge it's gonna be a huge move from Calder on the retail space, and the other one will be on the fast consumer goods space, where we want to re-envision how loyalty and engagement for goods that we're affectionate to, like imagine something you eat every day, like a snack or anything, can be part of your community and day-to-day life. But many more to come there, but we've seen huge demand, especially on definitely like new generation and community first brands, and the brands that have a lot of like affection, or like kind of like what we can even call cults, and how we like incentivize them.
So you probably gave an example there, but can you break down, or at least give more insight into what you mean when you say intersectionality of brand rewards?
Yes. So let's um, for example, give me a brand that would work with Starbucks.
A brand that would work with Starbucks. Okay, let's go with Apple. I mean, I can.
Okay, let's do I want to say so that like I
Clothing
don't like
brands?
it's what's up.
Do you mean like clothing? Do you mean clothing brands?
No, like it's synergistic. Let's say you drink Starbucks every morning, and you like buy a breakfast from
Oh, I
McDonald's
got you. I
with
got
it.
you. I got you. So let's go with Randy's Donuts,
Okay, love
and
it.
Starbucks. Yeah.
Okay, so you yeah, I love it. So you drink Starbucks every day and eat Randy's every day. Probably shouldn't, but let's say you're a super fan. Um like you will be like, and I'm giving Starbucks because like we are not working with them to like, but like that they have a Web3 application, and like this will be a great use case for them in the future too. So what crypto or like Web3 powered loyalty can do extraordinarily well compared to Web2 loyalty is transform your siloed loyalty into shareable standards. So let's say the donut shop also launched a blockchain powered loyalty, and Starbucks already has one too. Regardless which platform they use, maybe one uses Calendar, the other uses another tool, doesn't matter. The moment they want to have a partnership, this is in couple clicks. So imagine being able to spend Starbucks rewards for this partnership and on a set time or like volume threshold every morning in the donut shop, and vice versa. If you want to do this in Web 2, one, this will take months of integration, and the data, there will be data intersectionality, aggregation problems, and there will be also loyalty reward transfer problems. This happens all the time in airlines, and that's why airline programs are very hard to manage. But when you put all this on like blockchain powered systems, since they're using a shared standard, they can partner without needing anyone else in couple clicks. So that will be the future of loyalty rewards, one that are interoperable and multi-partnered and multi-branded and always dynamic. So one day Starbucks is working with this donut shop, the other McDonald's, um, and that they will be able to program these smart rewards in couple clicks and not necessarily have only one partner. One day, McDonald's, Starbucks, and this donut shop can also get into a multi brand partner reward system and have a dynamic exchange rate in the future. So that's the world we're going to, where one that is progressively decentralized. We're not going to see like Adidas and Nike just having interoperability like tomorrow. That's not going to happen, and that they probably will never do, because like they're um, in the same space. But what we are seeing is synergistic brands are already trying to work with each other in Web 2 and do not have the tools to do so. Like they do collaborations, they do engagement, they do loyalty, but they just don't have the tools to collect first party data and do these smoothly and in a much more like in a much more powerful customer acquisition way. So with Calder, we are the backend enabler for this to happen seamlessly and like in couple clicks.
Got it. Okay, so I had gotten confused. I thought you meant like tech infrastructure integrating like
Yeah. But I
you
was
know
like,
what I
I
mean.
guess
So
the
the
collab.
analogy that, or rather the explanation on like Randy's Donuts is a no brainer. Any kind of pastry, Dunkin' Donuts with Starbucks, or you can do like Chick-fil-A with I don't know, McDonald's. But like you said, with the Nike and Adidas example, who knows if they would ever want their reward systems to be interoperable, right? Because I see where you're going with this, and I think it's very interesting. And I think that you're probably just scratching the surface. Um, you know, Calder is very new, and you guys have a long way to go. But if you ever want to come on and do a deep dive into Calder when you have more information to share and want to give us updates, we'd be happy to hear. We love people that are building, young entrepreneurs that are building in the industry and trying to really help this technology shift different paradigms across our traditional world. I think this is a perfect use case. Is
Love
there
it.
anything, Gökçe, about your origin story and about the work that you've done across these different companies and your ultimate founding of Calder that you want to share with us before we move on?
Yeah, definitely. So I think we've touched upon a lot of insights today. I think the most important thing on crypto side is to stick through cycles. It's definitely like um, it's definitely a different dynamic and mentality to build in crypto in a bear market versus bull market, because in bull market it sounds like everything makes sense. Like every use case will be a great crypto use case, but it's really important to think that, like, see that and be kind of critical that like not everything needs a blockchain backend, and not a, like, and actually it's very costly to build blockchain powered technology, and sometimes centralized databases are just better if there's no trust like issue. So it's important to go through that decision tree of like, does this actually need a blockchain? And look, and if you want to look at blockchain at Berkeley, we had a good Medium article about it that I still use day to day, like sometimes like thinking about what needs to be off chain and what needs to be on chain on data side. But yeah, I think the other kind of high level thing I would say is that this has been truly like the most rewarding industry for me. Like being young, being like international, like, or, and there's so many like intersectionalities we are all in, but that crypto, like, you can be an anon, you can build on top of projects permissionlessly, you can build the future you want to be seeing. And that I've tried to do that in many forms, in like in many different projects where I put my face and ones that I didn't. And I think that's the beauty of like this space we're in, and that's I think the future we are going to live in. So I think in that sense this industry is like truly special, where you can be the change you want to see, because crypto is still very new. Um, mm, like look at from how far we became from 2008 to now, but like there's so much more exponential growth that is going to happen. So it's a great time to be building.
Yeah, again, beautifully put. I couldn't have said any of that better myself, and I feel the same way with respect to this industry and the opportunities that it's given me. Excuse me. Um, Let me see, Gökçe. Yeah, I think we covered everything as far as you. I like to do a fun Q&A section at the end of every one of these Twitter Spaces, and where I ask you very speculative questions, right? So just take them all with a grain of salt. It's meant to be fun. Nothing is financial advice. We give that disclaimer at the end of every space. But first up, actually, let me do it in a different order this time, since we're talking a lot about NFTs. Which industries outside of the ones we've already talked about and outside of the future use cases we've already discussed, which industries do you see NFTs disrupting sooner rather than later? So not art, not gaming, not clothing, none of that. Not brands. Would love to hear
Yeah,
your thoughts.
I love it. I think uh IP, entertainment, and um interesting. What else? authentication. Like these, I think these are very valid use cases where we like there always have like been the need to have like a global repository of like IPs or more like access to the systems or better authentication systems for the car you're buying or secondhand anything you're buying. So I think like NFTs are already disrupting with Aura blockchain, and there are many others into these. um I think in entertainment world, I guess like we didn't really touch to this, but like creator to fan relationship is going to be massively like changing sooner than later, because creators always adapt things fast, and that they're fast movers and they innovate fast. So I think we will see like more community dynamics with creators, and like kind of moving away from the world of like Twitch and other streams, and like basically bundling them into the Web3 world.
Beautiful. Love those. Next up, we got Bitcoin, the OG, the Big Daddy. Do you ever see Bitcoin being flipped, or do you think Bitcoin will remain king for the foreseeable future?
I love it. I think like of course this is not financial advice, and I'm not talking about it financially at all. I'm not talking about it in a higher level sense. Bitcoin can never be flipped. It's just like the backbone of the genesis of the ecosystem we're building on top of. Like Bitcoin, like peer to peer, like sensorless systems, like the white paper, like, and everything that came with it came with the core of Bitcoin. I'm not saying like I'm not saying it's gonna be used by the future of payments or like that it will be the best coin ever, but it's just like undeniable that it is the genesis of what we are, like what we are building on top of today.
Love that answer, and I'm inclined to agree with you. Next up, we got Ethereum. You already answered part of this question, so I'm not going to ask about the flippening. But what are your thoughts on Ethereum? Do you think that the merge was the right decision? And also, do you think that Ethereum will remain the smart contract DApp layer king that it is, especially considering the fact that you have this I think this is the purge. You have sharding. You have rollups, highly scalable layer twos. Would love to hear your thoughts on all that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I am an Ethereum maxi in the sense that uh like Vitalik's papers and like the future of crypto just looks brighter with Ethereum's like innovations. And I think yes, the merge was the right like decision, but I think it's more so that like Ethereum is actually like one of the best ecosystems for building dapps, and it's the best ecosystem for building social dapps, and it will remain the same. I One of the posts Vitalik posted on Ethereum subreddit that is, I think, really applicable here is that Ethereum will stay as one of the core ecosystems, and from now on, people like the founders that are just replicating Ethereum and just forking and adding couple features will remain suboptimal, because Ethereum is, in my opinion, already leading. And what Vitalik said there is that different ecosystems like Bitcoin, like Cosmos, are the ones that will be regarded as different ecosystems that can be a competitor to Ethereum. So I think this shows that Ethereum is already one of the main ecosystems that we will have moving forward, and that's it's more about having an innovation that is different than Ethereum, that can provide value, that can be composable, that can be synergistic, but needs to be like a different value proposition. So definitely, like like from our on Calder side too, we are mainly on Ethereum and Polygon. So it like we already made our like technical decisions on why Ethereum to build our DApp and why go with it as well.
Once again, beautifully put, Gökçe. Next up, I want to ask you about CBDCs. Do you think CBDCs are an inevitable reality? And if so, do you think that they will displace technologies like stablecoins entirely, or they just will live alongside stablecoins and the greater crypto ecosystem?
That's a great question. I think I mean, Celo had a stable coin, and I did work around like stable coins, or like I love reading up on them. I think this is tangential, but like stable coins do need more like innovation. Of course, like we still need to like we still have to see better algorithmic stable coins designs, and like um and I think kind of stress test a lot of um these stable coins designs, because even though things look like stable or like good for a long time, what happens is if there's a big trading or like wash trading happening in these coins, and then everything spirals. So I am all in that like stable coins will not be replaced, and that it will be a big part of our future. But that when it comes to CBDCs too, like I think it will be very like synergistic, and it's not going to be a winner take all or like one or the other. So that like I think they will just have different use cases and applications.
Fair enough. And in this bear market, apart from the obvious assets, what are some smaller, I guess by smaller, I mean lower cap crypto assets that you're dollar cost averaging into that you feel bullish on?
That's a good question. So I think like of course, mm, like thinking about my like investments now, um I we use Polygon day to day a lot, and I guess that's why like I do um like believe in and have Polygon as my like part of my portfolio. Of course, not an investment advice, but I have always like bought into like Ethereum, like more like dollar cost averaging, and Polygon. And I've never been the type to essentially short term sell or buy. So or like try like coins with no like back teams or theses or like white papers that make sense. So I would say I'm still bullish on things I use, and I believe that will be part of the core ecosystem of crypto, and those are the things I would buy.
Fair enough. And Gökçe, we're almost at the top of the hour here. Is there anything at all that you and I didn't discuss that you're excited to share? Go ahead and do so now.
Yeah, no, this was great, Noah. I know we will have other co-hostings and events coming up too. I think of course, again, if you're from Turkey or affected, I'm Turkish. Please be safe. Please reach out if you need anything. There's a lot of ways to donate and support. Or if you're listening, just look up and be aware of like what's going on. It's definitely tough out there. And I think on the crypto side, like if you're already in this Twitter space, that means you're excited, you're incentivized. So go like be part of a DAO, be part of a project, like be part of the one giving insights, reviewing insights, or build a platform. Like think about Whale Coin Talk, right? Like build a platform to amplify people. There's so many ways to be part of this ecosystem and be a core part of it. And that if you're excited about the future of NFTs applications like Loyalty Web3, check out Calder or reach out to me, and I'm always happy to chat.
Well, Gökçe, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. As I mentioned before, you are welcome on any time to share updates, to do more concentrated Twitter spaces, to focus an AMA on a particular subject. We have our Socratic style discussions every Wednesday at 4 p.m. UTC. You're welcome to come on and be a panelist for those. And audience members, if you are interested in donating to disaster relief, I'm sure you could DM Gökçe on Twitter and she could share any kind of information or any let's see, any websites that you might be able to do that through. So With that said, our hearts go out to everyone in Turkey. I hope everyone's okay. Again, as I mentioned before, Gökçe, with respect to your family and the people that you know over there. And yeah, anyway, guys, we're going to wrap things up. This is my third space of the day, so I'm a little loopy, but I hope that you all enjoyed the show. We're going to be back again tomorrow with Near Protocol to kick off the day. And remember, everything you hear on these broadcasts is meant for educational purposes only. Nothing is financial advice. My name is Noah. Be safe out there. Take care.
Thank you, Noah. This was great. And thank you guys for coming in.